All right, welcome back to the Luna Effekt podcast. I'm Louie, with me as always.
Brian, what up?
And we got a special guest, my buddy, my friend, Christian Freed, also
What's
a.k.a.
What's up?
Friday, hip-hop artist.
Hip-hop artist, punk rock Christmas artist.
Punk rock Christmas, man. So, yeah, we've been doing a lot of running today, especially me. But we've been busy since 12 today.
Have you been with him the whole time?
Since 12.
Since 12. So before that, I was doing a couple things, errands and picking up my phone. But so I'm drumming for his punk band. You know, explain that to us. How
I don't know.
Happened?
Last year, I just wanted to make a punk rock Christmas band because I was always into like pop punk music and stuff. And this year, I was just like, man, it's got to come to life.
But
like,
a punk rock Christmas band. Why Christmas? Why didn't it just
Dude,
not punk rock?
It's just so like opposite. Like I don't know. Like I've been listening to Dude Ranch by Blink-182, and it has just like that intenseness to it.
More fast speed punk. Like,
yeah. But at the same time, it has like some of those like tunes and stuff and the melodies that they sing, and it kind of gives off like a weird like cheery vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, man, punk rock Christmas would be so tight, dude.
So we're doing a punk rock Christmas. Like we had we had.
Who's doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
no one.
I haven't heard it at all.
Exactly.
It's pretty sweet. You can't go wrong with punk.
We did maybe we got 2 songs originals today, and we covered "The Little Things" by Good Charlotte.
yes.
You remember that song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we covered that. I did actually decent on the drums. I was surprised by mine.
It was tight.
I was like, oh.
It was tight, yeah.
I had fun drumming and stuff because I was like, oh fuck, I miss music and stuff. So, but yeah, we have a song called what? Beardo Weirdo.
And then
Christmas
Eve breakup. Yeah.
Christmas Eve breakup.
It's tight, yeah.
So the lyrics, they're all original. You're not just covering.
Yeah, but we don't really have that much lyrics yet. It was just kind of like we had the tune and we had like some basic lyrics we were going off of, and I was just kind of like going with the music, I guess. Like
the Christmas Eve breakup was like, she broke up with me through text.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like the lyrics.
Yeah.
She broke up with me through text.
And a lot of Merry Christmasing.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, well, she broke up with him on Christmas Eve is the song,
Yeah.
you know. So that's what it's about. It's like, and it said, "Merry Christmas, whoa," or I don't even know what we do something like that. Yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa. Dude, it's just fun because like we were saying, like you know, we have like Project Luna and like he has his Hip Hop Friday stuff, and like out of all the stuff that makes it big is this project because we just want it for fun and like, nothing. Everybody's like, oh, it's so edgy, like they don't even care, like they're just like up there doing shitty, you know, and like. They're awesome making
sloppy.
We call it slop rock. Slop pop rock. Oh, that's great. But yeah, so that's what we did today. That's what we were doing today. And then rushed here, and now we're doing the podcast.
Well, how long you been into the hip hop aspect?
I want to say I started writing when I was 12, but when I started getting serious, I met a kid when I was 13, and he was doing hip hop stuff. And I was terrible, so I was hitting him up, trying to get on tracks and stuff, and eventually he was like, oh my god, yeah, okay, finally, like, and I got on a track. It was terrible, but we started working together more, and I don't know, it just kind of took off after that. We were both 13 at the time, and
what was that first track? You remember?
I don't even, I think it was the first track I recorded for him. I don't remember what it was, but then I want to say the first track I recorded was a remix to Many Men by 50 Cent.
Many Men. Oh,
Yeah.
That's pretty gangster for your
Yeah,
first track.
dude.
That 13-year-old.
That track made me want to rap, bro. Like,
Really?
yeah, Many Men.
You had a lot of people wanting to kill you then, huh?
Yeah, probably. Like,
At 13 years old.
it was fun
shot.
though. But
That's crazy. I didn't know that was your first track you recorded on.
yeah, and then Jen just recently, like, I want to say like last year, I started like. Me and my partner split, and we just started doing our own thing. And now I've just been going by Friday, FR!DAY. So, yeah, just rocking.
Nice.
What made you just want to go by Friday? What started that whole Friday thing? How'd you get
Dude.
that rap name?
Okay, my first rap name was Sea Dog.
Sea Dog.
Yeah. I don't know. Friday, dude, is just dope. Like, when I was a little kid, I would go over to my grandparents' house on Fridays, and like it was just every time someone says the name Friday to me, it just like gives me a rush of like all these old memories and stuff. You know what I mean? Like nostalgic feeling, and like playing in the backyard, chilling with my cousin, and hanging out with my grandparents and stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, but that just kind of like what ties it all together.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
That gives it more like
That's got some real meaning.
Yeah. I thought it was just like I just picked Friday, but now that you know that, and people who listen to this are like, oh, that's why.
It's kind of cool though. Like Friday, like I like Friday.
Who doesn't like Friday?
Yeah, Friday. Fridays are good.
Like Friday.
That is cool because, like, I mean, you made it into an entity.
Yeah.
You know, the word. Kind of like, you know, like someone names their band Korn, and like when you think Korn the band now, it's like, oh, that's actually a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
But at first, like before they established it, it was like Korn. You know. Like, you name your
Yeah.
band Korn.
My parents never
Everybody thought
listened to
Nebraska.
Korn, so like when I heard Korn, I was like, Korn,
Yeah.
Korn. That's all you could come up with.
But then
No.
you listen to music and what they are and like their stage presence, and it's like, oh, Korn. Okay,
Yeah.
now this is cool. So you basically made Friday, you know?
Yeah, it's tight.
That is cool. That is
Nice.
cool.
So you from Omaha then?
I was born in Council Bluffs, but
Council Tucky?
Council Tucky. But yeah, I grew up in Omaha, and then I moved to Papillion when I was like 7 years old.
So all your roots are here.
Yeah.
If you could go anywhere, where would you go?
I don't know. I like Branson, Missouri. I just like honestly.
You could go
like,
anywhere.
I just like I like going to Branson,
Missouri.
Missouri, bro. Like,
There's
I
a lot
don't
of
know.
people that talk about that. I just
Really?
have you ever been? Branson, not
Branson.
Branson.
Yeah.
that's
Branson.
I
There's
guess
two
it's
different ones?
a big tourist
Oh.
thing.
Yeah, they got like a bunch of mini golf and stuff. It's pretty tight. For real.
Hey, keep it simple and stuff. You
I don't know. I've been to a couple cool places. I always like going to Colorado. Like, went on tour earlier this year in Colorado. It was pretty tight. I was just in Chicago on September 27th, I believe, and that was tight. Like, just we were in this like little, like, it was like almost like a little hipster area, you know, like one of those little like districts, you know.
Kinda like our Benson here.
Yeah, and we all walked down the street, and there was like this 24-hour hot dog stand guy,
Yeah.
and it was so tight, dude. We went down there at like 2 in the morning, got like chili cheese dogs and stuff. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chili cheese dogs at 2 in the morning. Chicago. That's
Chicago, Colorado, and Branson, Missouri.
Yeah. So, I known you for how long then now, Christian?
2014, I think.
Yeah, I think, that was it. Or 13. It might have been 13, dude.
Maybe, yeah, because we officially ish met at
Like the...
I'm texting Jesse to bring the fan down here.
yeah,
it's fucking
he's all
Yeah,
sitting
it's
here.
kinda
It's hot.
getting hot, yeah.
We got the coffee over there. I got coffee here. And then wake up. But yeah, I mean, I met you at a Battle of the Bands the first
Yeah,
time.
that was
You were
cool.
performing. Troublesome too.
It was obnoxious, bro. Like, I had all my friends on stage, and like, I don't know. It was kind of funny. We didn't win.
Well, I don't think anybody really won.
No.
That's kind of like a dumb little Battle of the Bands. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. It got me. You know, I got to learn or meet you and Christian, or you are Christian.
Yeah.
Gage and Scott. I met them too.
Mhm.
Met your mom and dad there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like me at first, you little punk.
Yeah, dude. I had that like little rapper ego where I was like, because I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man is life, and you had a Venom
I
shirt
had a
on,
Venom shirt on.
and I was like,
I love
oh
that
man,
shit.
like
Motherfucker.
it's going down right now.
Yeah.
But then I heard like the band Project Luna, and it was tight, dude. It was like some songs gave off like kind of like a Slipknot vibe or like the new metal vibe, you know. So like,
yeah.
I liked it. I stopped being a hater.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't like you at first, but I was like, it's probably my Venom shirt because he was wearing a Spider-Man. I think I came up to you
Yeah,
and said something.
yeah.
I was like, what's up, dude?
I was wearing my
Spidey.
Spider-Man shirt.
Yeah, so I was Venom and he was Spidey. That's awesome.
I've been a fan of Venom too. Carnage.
Carnage is tight.
Carnage
No
is
one
tight.
knows Carnage, and it's like, how? How do you not know Carnage? Yeah.
I don't know if he was. I mean, he's not as known as Venom. I don't.
But
I don't
people
know,
do
maybe.
seem to know him as a scary
Yeah.
villain, symbiote, or symbiote.
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 Yeah.
I would say symbiote, whatever.
Symbiote.
But yeah, he's like a deadly. Like he kills and stuff. Doesn't he get like control like a psycho killer?
Yeah. So Cletus Cassidy is like the host, and he was a serial killer. And then, basically, the Carnage symbiote is offspring of the Venom symbiote. So, the offspring of the Venom symbiote like got attached to Cletus Cassidy, and like he just started killing like thousands of people.
Damn.
So there's a little battle between Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage. Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't like the Carnage hate Venom too?
Yeah, like they hate each other. Like it's just like a big triangle of
Love, hate.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Venom becomes eventually good guy or something.
He's like an anti-hero. Yeah. Like,
which I think that's more popular nowadays than back then. The whole anti-hero
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot more people. I think I've said this before, but like the Punisher route, you know, Deadpool route, the Red Hood route, it makes more sense in these times
Mm-hmm.
than ever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think I might have said it. I mean, it might be a repeat of it, but the Batman thing. I was talking about the Batman thing. How I was sick of Batman and how I love Batman. Don't get me wrong. I
Mhm.
love the whole
Yeah.
Batman thing story, but I'm saying like he doesn't kill, and these these robbers, killers, crime people come out, they escape jail, and they go back out and doing the same thing and
Mhm.
get away with it again. And it's like Batman, dude, it's done. It's old. You got to kill these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
you know, they're gonna do the
yeah.
same thing again.
Just gotta leave
Yeah.
it up, Superman. I hate Superman.
I hate Superman too. God, people will be like, this dude just hates DC. He's a DC hater.
Marvel fanboy.
Yeah, Marvel fanboy, whatever. I like Batman. I grew up on Batman. I'm wearing a Batman animated Funko Pop shirt. You know, I love the
Yeah.
90s animated series.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
I liked it.
I didn't have a whole lot of Batman comics and stuff, but one that I did pay attention to is Frank Miller's.
Frank Miller,
I was a
yeah,
huge fan
dude.
of that one.
That's a Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, that was that book that I showed you. Well, there's 3 books. There's book 1, and then the other 2.
Oh yeah, yes.
And the complete novel is down there, but that's where the electric suit came from. And
Yeah. I always like that artwork too. Like that style of Batman. So
That Joker in the show or the movie that came out.
Mhm.
I mean that was the artwork in the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was based off the Frank Miller comic. Yeah.
It was
I didn't like that Joker.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really like the Joker.
Like,
I like the Killing Joke Joker.
all right,
That
so
was-
since we're on
Yeah.
topic, who's your favorite Joker?
dude, my favorite Joker, I don't know. It's so hard. I like the Killing Joker because
Are you talking about action or are you talking about any of the
Oh, probably just any of it, I guess.
any of it.
Yeah.
I think
Mark Hamill is a fucking beast.
Yeah,
He's a real Joker.
he has the Joker voice, but like when it came down to the movies and
Okay, just
everything,
movies then.
Heath Ledger just
Attaboy.
like it wasn't the Joker that we all know, but it inspired so many different flavors of Joker in different comics now after that movie came out. And it was just like I don't know, it like revived the Jokers, or not revived. It like gave him a new look entirely for the comics.
Because
So-
we were only really had like the comics and people only really knew like the Mark Hamill cartoon Joker or Jack Nicholson Joker
Yeah.
style until Heath Ledger stepped it up. And
I think Jared Leto's Joker is all right.
I know me and you would get in an argument about
Triggered.
that. I hated Jared Leto's Joker. I thought he was just a fucking kind of guy laughing. It's like this bird is baked, and then he had those fake teeth in his mouth, so he's like, just like. I know you meant that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, dude, anybody can do that voice. You know what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
he kisses like the ring or something. And
See,
he sits on his lap.
I loved that scene, dude. That showed
Really?
like how much of a freak he was, man. Like, see, with Heath Ledger, you watch and you're just like, wow, this dude's insane. But with that, it's like with the Jared Leto Joker, he gets in your face and he makes you feel uncomfortable in his presence. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
just felt uncomfortable that he was the Joker. Like it was just like, what the fuck, dude? Like I don't know. I don't even know what scene he came in the movie. I think they showed him in the car, or in the club.
yeah,
When Common was in there, Common got shot.
yeah,
But,
dude.
when he's just sitting there, he's like, "She's the fire in my loins." I'm just like, dude, like it just seemed too fake to me. I
Yeah.
don't know. His acting just seemed. And so even like I always make my girlfriend laugh when I say like stupid shit like this bird is baked. Ever since he said that, I always say that like this bird is baked. You know, he's like, I'm always like, would you die for me? And then she starts laughing. I'm like, no, that's too simple. Or whatever he says, like, would you live for me? Oh man, I mean, I'm probably doing the worst impression right now, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we could edit a clip in there and
Yeah.
we'll toggle back and forth between Louis and.
Oh man, it probably sound almost the same. Like I go. He had like Jared Leto's Joker was like a cross between like a fake Joker and then also you guys seen Underworld?
Oh, Underworld saga.
I've seen like
great.
one Underworld
You never
movie.
seen those? You gotta catch up on those, dude.
It's worth wasting
Well,
your life on.
maybe.
Is Underworld the one with the vampires and the lichens?
Celine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I seen one. It was pretty tight.
The Lycan, the Rise of the Lycans was a really good one. If that's the one you're
Shit,
talking
they're
about.
all
I don't know.
good.
I know there's
You didn't like that one?
vampires
They're
and
all
werewolves.
good.
Oh, they're all yeah, but I mean, Rise of the Lycans was bomb. But-
yeah.
Victor, you guys know Victor off of Underworld,
Yeah.
the leader of the vampires.
Vampires, yeah.
The way he act, you know how he was always like he did that. Did this,
Yeah,
like,
it kind of slurped a lot.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's where I got Jared Leto. I was like, he must have watched like Underworld and started like acting out a Joker with that whole, you know, like.
I gotta see it. I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta
He was just always. Victor was always disgusted about everything.
Yeah,
he just like cringed on everything.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's a good explanation.
Yeah.
Now I see the actor. You know, he's like, yeah, and then still. Yeah, he always did that. So Jared Leto did that a lot too. And I don't care if it was his teeth. I mean, it could have been he used it as a prop, the saliva and the gold fronts he had or whatever.
Yeah.
But they said that Heath Ledger's Joker even did that. You know, like that little lick that he always did in the movie. He always,
Yeah.
he always did that. Well, that's because that makeup that he had on was coming off.
Oh, and he was just.
Yeah, so instead of going back to the actual dressing room and like gluing it and taking time and stuff, he just like
Just lick it off.
licked it back on, glued it back
Yeah,
on. Spit.
glued it back on.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Just something about Heath Ledger's Joker, dude. Like, it just seemed like that was him. Like, it seemed like there was no acting. It seemed like they just found the Joker and like threw him in the movie. But
Yeah, I saw a little bits and pieces. Like I think they were talking about the Christopher Nolan Batman series, and they went over Heath Ledger's acting and stuff, and how he just basically
He just rolled with it.
yeah, and like a lot of improv in his stuff, you know,
Yeah.
that he did on set. Like even I guess one of his scenes, you know, like when he goes in there, he's like, "Where's Harvey Dent?" And he's like going into the crowd, the party, Harvey Dent's party. Like he was actually nervous about that because like I didn't want to perform this in front of a lot of people. I didn't think there's gonna be a lot of people here. He's like, "How am I gonna do this? Like there's a lot of space that I'm acting in, you know." And they said, "Use the crowd." So that's why you see him kind of like taking drinks or like smacking. He's like, "You remind me of my father," and like smack people, you know. But what? Okay. Like I gotta stop talking shit. So what do you like about Jared Leto?
I just liked the creepiness. Like he gets on this guy's lap and like just
That's
imagine
the creepiness.
just imagine that. Like you're in this room with like all these dudes and like you're all tied up and stuff, and then the Joker comes in and like you don't expect it at all, and he's like in your face and like he's trying to get personal and like he's rubbing on you and stuff, and it's like
it sounds
like
kind of
it gets in your head, dude. It gets in your head, like
regular Saturday night for me. No. No, I understand, man. I mean, a lot of people liked his Joker. I just didn't. I think I'm a hater.
I think the look could have been better, but I don't know. Yeah.
And like a lot of people hate on what's her name? Maggie
Margot
Margaret? I don't even remember.
something.
Well, Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she did good. And a lot of people say they hated it. Maybe a lot of people hated the costume. You know, they're like, "Oh, she's just a little."
You can't hate the costume.
Yeah, I don't think you can hate the costume, but
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people hated on her too. But I thought she did good.
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
I thought she did awesome.
She was alright. I think sometimes it was like a little corny, a little cheesy.
Like the part of the bar. This is the first thing that
the
came
part
up.
in the bar.
She's like, own that shit.
The part in the plane where they get introduced
The
to
bird
the
is
chick
baked?
with the no, man. Not that. The one where it's like the chick with the katana, the ninja sword.
She's like, nice to meet you.
Yeah. That I was like, kind of cringe. You know?
There's a couple cringe. Yeah, I mean that's exactly how I felt about Joker.
How do you not play the part? Like, how do you not play that part? And like, because Harley Quinn is so over animated, anyways. You know.
I heard in a new Batman movie that just came out. It's like Harley Quinn joins like Nightwing and Batman, and she ends up banging Nightwing in there.
Huh.
Yeah, in the cartoon. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
It's on Adult Swim.
Is it?
No, it would have to be if
I don't know.
that's going on.
I haven't seen it. I haven't watched the new movie. I gotta rewatch the Phantasm or whatever, the animated series movie again. Haven't seen that in a while. It just came out on Blu-ray or something like that. The Mask of the Phantasm. You never seen that one?
I don't think
That's a
even
good one, man. That's the animated.
It's
series.
Batman.
Yeah, it's a 90s cartoon movie from the animated series. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just think like out of the Jokers though, I think Mark Hamill is cartoon Joker voice. I think that's probably the best. And then out of actors, I would go with Heath too.
So what's your influential actor? You got an actor that is...
First one that comes to mind.
Oh, man. Like, just as, like, actors, I don't know, man. I like Will Smith. I like Elijah Wood. I like...
Most influential, though, that really, like, you...
You might not have a most one, but...
Most influential actor.
An actor that's influenced you in some way.
Will Smith might be it, then if it was the first one.
Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Oh, dude, Fight Club is
that's a good one.
Yeah, I watched that movie with you for the first time. Yeah,
I showed
dude.
him that movie for the first time.
Brad Pitt, like, his character, Tyler Durden, was just, like, excellent in that movie.
Who's the other guy, too? Because he played a great part
Edward
too.
Norton.
Edward Norton.
He's crazy good, too.
He killed that shit.
Yeah.
American History X was...
His, too.
Yeah, that was a great one.
What? Oh, yeah, he was Hulk in the first Hulk.
Yeah, he was supposed to be Hulk, but I don't know what happened in that.
I think that was like the first movie or second or something. They just rebooted all the Hulks.
Every time
they bust out a movie, they reboot it.
It was the second one that initially launched the like Marvel universe, like with Iron Man and everything. He was supposed to be the Hulk in all those. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like who they got now. What's his name?
Yeah. I don't remember. I don't know.
I don't know, but the new Hulk is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's pretty.
He seems a lot more nerdy.
Yeah. Edward Norton seemed pretty
Edward
bad.
Edward Norton.
Yeah. He seemed pretty bad. Dude, I'm tired. Got coffee. I'm sipping on what whiskey here.
A little Knob Creek.
Knob Creek and some coffee, and I got water.
It's probably not the best of combinations, but
it's helping.
shit works.
It's helping right now. I'm like super tired, sore, and everything. What's yours? I mean, we never really got into this.
I know, and I don't know if I actually have,
Maybe
I would probably say Christopher Walken. I think he's just kind of got nobody is like Christopher Walken. It's every character he's portrayed has just been just odd.
What's his most popular movie?
Well, hell, I don't know. He was in Click. He was in.
He played Morty in that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was Death.
Sleepy Hollow. He was.
Yeah, and he was the Headless Horseman, and
he plays a lot of villains sometimes, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's kind of most of his thing. The Quick and the Dead. He was in that one. But I don't know, I always kind of thought that just the way he speaks, no one in the world, and I don't even know if that's him or if
Acting
it's just what he does.
Voice.
Yeah, he's just.
It seems like it's his normal voice now. Like if you went to talk to him, he would talk to you the way he acts.
Yeah, just it's just speaking to you in very disconnected phrases. Just one thing just has nothing to do with the previous, and
yeah, I never thought about that about him, but yeah, he does. He has his way of speaking. Like basically, he acts the same way almost in every movie, but just different rules.
Yeah,
kind of like a Will Smith. Will Smith can act in every movie, but he's still Will Smith in every movie.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's like Will Smith acting, but like a lot of his older movies were like not like that, but now it seems like it is.
Yeah, I think they get to that phase where they're like that. Adam Sandler got to that kind of point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he changed a little bit.
I don't like Adam Sandler.
He was cool.
I've never been a fan.
Really? You never liked this? Like, oh man, 90s was bomb. I liked Adam Sandler in the 90s. Awesome.
I hear what you're saying. Like, and even television has kind of poked fun at Adam Sandler's character because it's always just this dopey, unintelligent character. However, Chris Farley never needed to change. He was everything he did. It was just he was. I don't know if you're a Chris Farley fan, but his character was just accepted with any movie, and he was the same character in every movie. Just a total idiot, but I think he made something out of it though. But yeah, I think Christopher Walken's pretty cool. He kind of reminds me that you can be strange and
yeah.
Still be cool and get
still
laid.
People dig you.
Well, shit. I mean, there's always weird people getting a lot of girls and poon out there.
I'd have to say Bruce Willis also though. Bruce Willis is like a tie for me. He's been a badass since day one.
I like that new movie he's coming out in. I forgot what it's called, but he's like vigilante type guy. Like, I want to say his family died. It's kind of like Die Hard where his family dies or something. I don't know. And then he like starts taking it in his own hands to start killing like rapists and killers and stuff. Kind of, yeah. I don't know. It's cool. I forgot.
I was just excited. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Split. Have you seen Split?
Yeah, it was tight.
So the ending of Split is what got me excited about Bruce Willis.
Yo,
When they tied in the Unbreakable, and I was like, "What? I did not expect that." M. Night Shyamalan,
Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
He basically redeemed himself on that.
Yeah.
Like, they were talking shit on him for a while and how he's doing bad on movies, but like that movie just killed it. I thought for me, and then how they tied it in and had Bruce Willie in the end.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willie.
Yeah.
And tied in, he's like, "What, Mr. Glass?" It's like, "Oh shit, it's Unbreakable." So I don't know if they're ever gonna make another movie to that or
Split.
what. Yeah,
I don't know. I think it'd be tight just to like have a continuation. If like I don't know, cause that movie was so weird. Like it took such a weird turn at that point.
It threw me off towards the ending. It wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
but basically, kind of like saying like it's taking over your body. That can almost take over like your genetic, like your muscles, your strength. Like you becoming this beast. Whatever these characters that he was portraying in the movie, like that were taking over his body, all these different, like the women, the little kid, little boy.
Yeah.
It's kind of, And at the end, how he like basically transformed into this beast.
That guy did a great job with that movie too, dude. Like he played so many different characters inside of a character.
Yeah.
So are we talking Death Wish?
Death Wish?
Is that the new Bruce Willis? There's a new Bruce Willis Death Wish trailer here.
That's it.
That's probably it then.
Yeah.
All right. So if they're revamping Death Wish, we're going back to the 70s. So it was, it wasn't Charles Bronson. Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
I
would not know. I wouldn't know.
Well, and all that shit's on Netflix and Hulu and stuff. But yeah, Charles Bronson was, and he's not alive anymore, but he was the original Death Wish, and they had like 5 of them, and it was pretty brutal. So shit, yeah. If
these times they're probably gonna make it even more brutal.
Yeah,
brutalness. I think we just like brutal shit.
Brutal.
It gets darker and more bloodier, and oh man, crazy.
Yeah. Did you guys ever see that thing about Jim Carrey's like weird episode at I don't know what it was.
The fashion show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever like go into
One of my
that,
buddies
or?
told me about this interview because I told like we had a podcast that we deleted, I think, because it got erased.
Well, we didn't delete it.
Yeah, we didn't delete it accidentally.
I fucked it up.
But during some editing, I said that my most influential or favorite actor, the first one that came to my head was Jim Carrey.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's on some like, I like him, and he's on some spiritual law of attraction, being one with the world, and just a crazy like everything's connected kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But that interview, one of my buddies from work told me to watch it. And I haven't, but he told me about it. How he made the the interviewer like follow him in circles and like.
Nah, he was like circling around the interviewer.
Yeah,
dude. It's so weird, man.
And like she asked him like, God, what she asked? There was a question that she asked him right away. Like, why'd you're here at this most like important something, or I don't know what he said, but it was fucked up that people were like, what? Like something about fashion, and he was like, is it important?
he was just being like, well, in all reality, none of that matters. None of this even matters. And I'm just here because, like, it's hilarious that it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't even know. Like, he was just going off. And, like, later he was just kind of explaining, like, he broke it down where he thinks it's just hilarious because, like, in every movie, you're playing a character. And he was saying that all he was doing is taking the Jim Carrey character and putting that aside for this other character. And in reality, we're all just, like, a bunch of characters that, like, swap in and out. I don't know. It's weird, man.
I mean, if you think about it, we all kind of are, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We all kind of have different ways we act in front of different people, you know? You're still the same character. You're still the same Will Smith in every
you act
movie.
different around different friends. Sure, yeah, I can see
you know, that's
that.
true. You know, you talk differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's part of the problem with teenage relationships.
Well, I think that's a little different. But like I'm saying, like, you know, you go with your bandmates, you act different. You go with, if you went to like a sporting event, you act different. You know,
Yeah.
you bring out a different you. I mean, you know,
It's so weird, man.
but I mean, if you were
Yeah.
just the same all the time, it'd be a super boring world. You know,
Yeah.
Unless you're Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. Or what was his name again? Fuck, Beverly Hills. Fuck, what's the one? You know, I'm thinking
Oh, Chris Farley?
Chris Farley.
I was gonna say Beverly Hills Cop.
No, what did he say? Beverly Hills Ninjas.
Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah. Beverly Hills.
So let's go into some movies then. What type of movies? Just a little bit of everything, or are you a horror
weird,
fan, or
man. Anything weird? Like, I like horror movies, but I really like the psychological movies.
I think that's
Like,
why you really love Fight
Yeah.
Club now.
Fight Club just like kicked the door in because, like, when I hear Fight Club, it's like, okay, like a bunch of dudes in the basement like fighting and stuff. Sounds alright. But then, like, when I watched it, it was just like,
I remember showing you. I was like, dude, I was like, you
Yeah.
gotta watch this with me, dude. You're gonna love it. And he just, and yeah, you loved
yeah.
it.
I liked.
Like,
Have you seen Interstellar?
no?
Oh man, that movie was rad, dude. Like, it was basically just talking about like black holes and like, so like there was a supposed wormhole that they found in the galaxy. The Earth is dying, so they're like out trying to find a different planet to inhabit, and they find this wormhole. And basically, in science like today, the only way you can really stumble across a wormhole is if someone creates it. So they're like, who created this wormhole? Who did it? So they go through this wormhole and they're experiencing like all the time changes. Like an hour where they're at is like 20 years on Earth and stuff, you know. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, that's pretty
wormholes.
sweet.
They're trying to make a fucking black hole on Earth right now.
Dude,
The CERN.
it's rad,
Yeah,
dude.
fucking. They got somewhere in Europe. I forgot where. They have this
It's
big
in
one-
the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Europe, but they have like this big underground, fucking, what is it, like a big
Particle collider.
particle collider taking
Mhm.
two atoms, right, and trying to get
Yeah.
into reach the speed of light, and then once it gets there or something, they're gonna crash them together and try
Yeah.
to recreate the Big Bang Theory, basically.
Yeah.
So
Well-
how do you plan on surviving the Big Bang Theory? I mean, they're
Well, they want to see if they can create life.
Yeah, or something like that. Because basically what happened was, like, when they do it, they're just trying to find, like, all these different particles, like, trying to break down dark energy and, like, dark matter. And through doing that, they found, I'm pretty sure that's how they found the Higgs boson, which is called the God particle. And basically, the Higgs boson is, I think, one of the smallest particles we know of. And inside of it, if you believe in, like, string theory and stuff, there's like a string of energy, and that's just all it is. Like, that's like the smallest we can get. But I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's some weird shit.
That's
So it
pretty
is in
impressive.
the UK though.
Yeah. So they just take like protons and neutrons and stuff and just like slam them together and just try to record everything flying apart, basically.
Are they having any success with?
They found the Higgs boson, and that was like, it was one of the hugest discoveries as of late, because it has the Higgs field and the Higgs boson, and it's just like we're another step closer to figuring out like what the root of everything could be, you know.
Damn.
But
So maybe he's gonna be opening up a Stargate.
yeah,
like, you
But
don't know what.
it's just hard for me to believe because like according to scientists and stuff, like in space there's black holes the size of like our sun. Then there's massive black holes in the center of our galaxy. But then there's black holes that can swallow galaxies. And it's like, if things can get that big, like I just don't see it ever ending. Like size is an infinite concept or something.
Well, I mean, what if we are in a big black hole?
We
like
basically
everything,
are.
Everything in space is black. I think we had this conversation. I was like saying, like, if you take out all the light, all the stars, all the suns, let's say there's no light, everything would be black. But let's say we still existed. You know? So, like, everything you touch, you can still feel everything around you. But if everything was gone,
you'd just be blind.
It'll just be blind blackness, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, like, more than 90% of the universe that we know of is just dark matter and dark energy or something.
And they don't even know what that is still.
Yeah.
They don't know what dark matter, dark energy, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, like, a big, like, mystery with the black holes. You know, like, dark matter and dark energy, like, how does this relate with these black holes and... Black holes, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
like
total mind blown. It is a scary thought too, like to think about. Like, you know, we're on this planet, and then all around us is like infinite shit. You know, just space, stars, and like to say that there is nothing out there is fucking dumb. Like, you know, and a lot of people don't care about what's out there or what's going on in life. I mean, we're so caught up in this like routine of life. You live your life out, work all the time, and do a couple things on the weekend, a couple things during the weekdays, and go back to grinding. You know, go back to your job, go back to, you know. And I think more people are getting like obese and fat and sick, and you hear a lot more about cancers and stuff. And it's like that's what we're programmed to think and do in life, you know. And like there's certain people that are out there trying to find answers and stuff, but it's like a lot of like the majority of the people don't give a fuck. Yeah. You know, if they were as passionate as they were with football, for example. Yeah. You know, oh, I'm a Husker or like anything, like, you know, NFL or anything in basketball. Like if they were that passionate with that, with other things in life that really matter, it'd be a different place, you know.
Yeah. And to me, it's just like it's always been the same goal because we're living organisms, so our goal is just to survive. But it's the way of surviving has become so like distorted. You know what I mean? But I wasn't alive thousands of years ago when we didn't have like cell phones and cars and stuff.
Just think about 100 years ago.
Yeah, like how difficult was it really compared to now? Like.
I think we made life difficult though with technology. I mean, it's a plus to have, but I think it's equally destructive.
Double-edged sword, basically, kind of.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd say so. Yeah.
It has good things, bad things. Anything you create in life will probably always have. There's a positive and there's also a negative. And if it's a positive, there's like, how can we make so much money off this though? Or you know, or how can we? Yeah, whatever. I mean, like I always said this. I think money is what controls everything. Who's ever running the world is fucking. Got us enslaved,
it's just
you know.
Power, bro. Like money is like the physical, like thing
of
of power almost. So it's like everyone's just like money.
But who really runs? Who's the elite? Who are these people who are at the top of the fucking thing? You know. Yeah. And I always thought about like, you know, like people are like, oh, you know, you get a lot of freedom here in the United States, which I'm happy. I was born and raised here, and I get to do what I get to do, and freedom of speech and. You know, we get to live our life, and you know, we don't have to worry about. I guess you could say if we lived somewhere in the Middle East where people are getting gunned down, you know, or like there's constant wars over there.
Yeah, or like North Korea or something. Like
yeah,
we are living there.
The dictator. Yeah, or Venezuela right now. You know, it's like we're lucky, but there's also a thing where it's like we could do better here. You know, there's always you can do a better job. I mean, there's still people here that are poor. Still people, like, not everybody learns the same. The system's fucked up, I think, in my head. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, you're fucking living in a fairy tale land. It was never going to happen. But, like, why not? Why can't, like, things be better, you know,
the
for
way
everybody?
I think about it is just, like, why is there a system? Because, like, we're also quick to put labels on everything, like, whether it's, like, liberals, conservatives, this or that, when it's just like, man, like, I know for a fact that I'm an individual. And just like me knowing that, I have to understand that you are, and like if everyone is able to just like have their own system in a way where it's just, I don't know, it just makes sense. It doesn't make sense that we're all stuffed into one system, you know, when we're all individuals.
The system seems to be only working for the elite.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, essentially, yeah, like,
you know, that's what it seems like to me, and whoever's running the world. It seems like this is these. You're living our life, but we're like, you know, I always say it's a sad way to put it, but like you're living someone else's dream, making their wishes come true. And, you know, I mean, I worked for some companies I thought was like, what the fuck, you know? Like, they treat other people like shit, but like, especially like corporate people that get to that point in life, you know, and they make so much money and travel and all this. Like, you know, one of these companies I worked for, like the corporate fucks will come and they get different toilet seats installed in their hotel room. One guy's a fucking vegan. They don't, or not even this, like the restaurant that they own at this casino, they didn't even eat that fucking food. Like the chefs and stuff had to go to Whole Foods and buy them like, you know, lobsters and all the different type of style foods. One guy's a fucking vegan, so you had to go get him like all these peanuts, and they drink Voss waters, all this stuff expensive. Like they're looking for the way to, where can we have budget cuts? Where can we cut off stuff? Well, we're gonna cut off this, you know, payroll. We're not giving them raises. We're gonna stop doing this. Oh, they don't need food. Or they don't need to do this, you know. We're not going to pay for their lunches. We need to charge them more for this. But yet you're fucking spending so much on traveling, so much on fucking Voss waters, Fiji waters, toilet seats, you know, hotel rooms, fucking food that this fucking dude didn't even eat, you know. The only reason I know is because I used to work at this place, and like they kissed his ass to this one corporate fuck, and he didn't even touch any of the food, you know. And it's like, fuck, what makes him better? Like, oh, they need to be well rested to run the company. It was like, well, don't all your employees need to be fucking rested and fucking have a good head on their shoulders, you know? I don't know. I just think this fucking world's fucked.
Yeah. It's just, sorry, what?
No, you're fine. I was gonna say we're gonna take a break here, but we're gonna come back to some beliefs.
Yeah, fuck corporate.
Oh, and we're gonna
corporate.
We're gonna dive into a little religion versus science.
So that's perfect. That's perfect. All
right. We'll be back in just a moment.
All right, we're back from our little break.
Back with Christian Freed.
Little pee break.
Friday.
Yes.
So, the battle between religion and science. Christian, what do you favor?
I feel okay. I guess I'll just say it like this. I'm not a fan of religion, but I am a fan of like just like the spiritual side of it, because it just doesn't, I think I accidentally did this. I can't like seem to separate science and like spirituality from each other completely, because it has to go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like,
I just said that earlier too.
Yeah, it has to. Like, there's some sort of thing going on in the brain or something that we haven't been able, like consciousness. The fact that we are aware of ourselves and we've been able to record our history and we've been able to thrive like other animals and other beings on this planet haven't been able to is just like insane. And there's got to be a reason why, you know. And we've used science to try to figure it out, and we've been unsuccessful so far. We've used religion to like kind of just, to me it just seems like almost like an easy way out, like right away, you know, like that's something we'll never be able to figure out, so don't even like give it a chance, you know.
Are you
like, saying
like the religion side of like, oh, we can't figure that out?
Yeah, kind of. But then on the contrary, like you'll have a lot of the science community being like just saying everything in religion is false, when, you know, there's truths to it, you know, there's truths to things about like the soul. And
what do you believe?
I'm trying to figure that out still. Like, I feel like I'll always be on that mission, 'cause it's just, there's so many different mysteries. Like, I think about how we could be here, how people could say we're here all alone, and it just doesn't make sense, because like it just doesn't make sense. Everything is so big and so vast. How are we the only people out here? Like, how are we the only ones out here?
I agree.
But I don't know, man. I believe that it's like, how deep can I go right here? Like,
Go as deep as you want.
Yeah.
all right, on like like I just say like the topic of God, the idea of God, the concept of God, I feel has just been misconstrued as to be like, when you talk about God or you talk about like a certain like religious figure, you know what I mean? You're talking about he or she. When in my mind it just seems like there's time and there's space, but then there's life. And in my mind it's like, okay, well, if God was to be anything, it would most likely be like God would give life. So there's like this holy trinity of time, space, and life. You know what I mean? There's the question of, if a tree falls in a forest and no one's there to hear it, did it make a sound? Well, if there's time and there's space, but there's no life to experience it, does it really even ever exist? You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So, like, God to me is just like a cog in the machine of reality that's just like constantly turning, you know?
Almost needed in the minds of some people in order for them to survive, whether it's truly there or not.
Yeah, it's just like,
You got to have some beliefs in order to, in order to feel like you can.
yeah,
It
but
gave people a sense of purpose.
Yeah,
there you go.
You know?
and I don't discredit anyone who's religious or anyone who's fully in the science community, because like literally no one has it figured out. You
No
know what
one
I mean?
has the answers
So
of
there-
what happens when you die.
Like,
you know, where
flying
you go.
spaghetti monster is just as like appropriate as, you
Those are
know.
the pastafarians, right?
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. It's just foolish of anyone to be like, this is the answer because of like this evidence we drawn from. And it's like, okay, you found that evidence, but like, you've never been to the other side of the universe. You've never been to like, we've experienced like 0.0000000, and it goes on forever because we've never experienced anything outside of Earth, really. Like, we've been to Mars, we sent some stuff into space, but no human has been like, yeah, man, I've been to a different solar system. You know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we've only, like, humans only been to like the moon. If that wasn't filmed in the Hollywood basement, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
moon landing conspiracy. That's a separate topic.
Yeah. But
Uh-oh.
you know, like
I'm a fan of science, though, by the way.
I said, like, we asked this question before, I think, and I said, like, the day that science and religion come together to look for the answers together and put away all this, like, you're wrong, I'm right, God said it is this way. I mean, that's the day where I think we would find more answers. They would work together because everything, even spiritual shit, ties in with science stuff. You know, it's just an answer to it.
Mhm.
Science is more the answers to it. You know.
There was studies done on people who were in something called the gray zone, where they're like in a coma type state, and there was an entire book written by like this dude they said was unconscious, but the only thing he could ever do is lift a finger, and they managed to like write this book with him lifting his finger. And they were able to ask him all these different questions and able to like decipher all the messages he was trying to say. And like, I don't know, it was insane. Like,
So he was in a coma?
No, it was in a coma type state where he was basically just paralyzed, except for everything but like lifted the finger, you know. And there's another book written by a neuroscientist about this girl who was in a coma type state where she couldn't communicate anything really, but once when she came back, she like, I don't know what happened, I don't know all the specifics, but once she came back, she described it as like the most intense and happiest feelings she was like ever feeling.
Being in a coma.
Yeah, like she was like experiencing all these weird.
So basically, consciously, she might have been somewhere else.
Yeah, like, isn't that kind of weird? You know, there's so much in neuroscience that still has to be figured out. And
what's that drug that hallucinogen? EMD?
DMT. Spirit molecule.
Yeah. They say that your pineal gland, when you die, produces that and lets it out into your brain and stuff in your system.
When you dream, DMT is released, and like DMT is found in psilocybin, which is the magic mushroom, the chemical that makes you trip, and ayahuasca, you know.
I heard about that too.
And yeah, it gets released when you die, and I don't know, like they still haven't figured it out. They still haven't figured out DMT really, and it's just weird, man. The brain is such a weird thing.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to see? Based, I mean, we've got religion, we've got science, and then we have our own beliefs. What would you like to see happen? I mean, and this is the creative part that's just gonna.
Oh man,
if what would you like to see?
Well, okay. The way I see it is like we'd make it a bunch of several different huge discoveries, like, just like I don't know where humans exactly came from, because a lot of the science community says evolution, a lot of the religious community says creationism, and there's a lot of evidence pointing towards evolution, but there's nothing inspiring the consciousness that we have, like the awareness that we have. And some people like stoned ape theory, like eventually like apes came down and they started becoming the cavemen or whatever, and they started eating psilocybin mushrooms and all that. And then I don't know, it seems like history, like art was a huge thing that inspired like our growth as humans, like being able to like basically talk to the future. Like if we could write this message to our children and their children and everything, like that's how we would progress. But I think it would have to start with like how we became the way we did, because we'd be able to multiply that eventually, you know. We'd be able to like unlock those different levels, and I don't know, people have to understand perspective. And like what I was saying, like the individualism, like you, in my opinion, you can't force people. Like, I don't know, man. Everyone's an individual, so
we don't all learn the same.
Yeah.
We don't all have the same bodies.
So we have to let everyone figure themselves out and figure out how to coexist with each other. And I don't know, something with unlocking like different levels and being at peace. Like peace, we have so much energy being put forth towards with war and wanting. But when we are content with what we have and we're at peace, and we can be at peace with everyone else, there's so much more we can like focus on, like you're saying. And I don't know, the possibilities are endless, you know. Like we just gotta make sure it happens before the earth gets blown apart by the sun. So
well, like, and that's a crazy topic, especially to talk about it nowadays. Like there's a lot of things going on in this world with climate change. I mean, you know, like we probably had the most hurricanes we've had ever attack, you know, on the fucking Atlantic right now.
Yeah.
Jeez, what is there, 4 or 5 of them going on at once?
Yeah, it was like day after tomorrow type stuff.
Yeah, there's one right
That's
now.
a
It's
great
only a
movie,
category 2 or something like that. What, like Hurricane Nate, I think they call it right now.
Yeah.
Is heading towards New Orleans, but it's only a category 2. It still creates damage, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, not to mention too, a lot of weird shit going on in the world. A lot of, you know, and I mean, this is Saturday, so it's like about to be a week tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What just happened in Vegas last Sunday?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we talk about, like, you know, if everybody had this conscious level of peace and stuff, but no one knows like what drove that dude to kill people. You know, like you're always gonna have these people out there, or what drives someone to go rob and murder and stab, you know, rape. You always had those people too. So it seems like to get to that level it's never gonna happen, because you need the yang. You know, you need the positive and the negative, you know, to keep a balance in the world. But also, like, it seems like the negative is like almost overthrowing a little bit of that positive that we have, you know.
Yeah.
And
you don't really hear about a lot of the positive though, and that's kind of
just through like media manipulation and like
we've been so materialized.
Yeah.
Or what is it? Yeah, is that the word?
manipulate.
No, like material things.
Manipulated.
You know, we go after a lot of material things. I guess, like,
yeah.
you know, that's what we've been kind of like like learn to do, or like, you know, that's what they push on us growing up with
being
commercials.
Materialistic, sure.
Yeah, materialistic. Yeah, there you go. Not materialized, but you know, materialistic. So I feel like that's what they like. Whatever commercials and stuff want, like you said. You know, that's what basically everybody's kind of about in a way. You know, I mean, to some degree, like, I mean, look at me, like I collect a bunch of pop fucking toys. You know, it makes me happy though. You know, I mean, I look at them. Everybody, I've had the questions of like, why do you collect those or what? But like, I'll catch myself looking at them and be like, man, like it brings back memories. You know, I mean, I grew up watching a cartoon of this dude, right? You know, Batman, or like the Ninja Turtles right here, South Park. You know, I still watch that shit.
Yeah.
And it just brings back memories. It makes me happy owning stuff like that. But I mean, in life, I think like everybody wants that money, that fame, the attention, and stuff. And some people are willing to do anything to get it. You know?
And talking back on the religious topic, like if you study all the religions individually, like a lot of what it is really a ridding process rather than like gaining. So like in order to get where you want to go, it's mostly just a ridding process, which seems like, I don't know, like that's how it seems in real life pretty much. Like a lot of people will hold you back, a lot of like stress from like over controlling things that don't really matter, that you just like put on yourself, like, oh man, I gotta make this happy, I gotta make this happen, I gotta make this happen, you know,
Constantly under pressure daily.
So like the religion is just like a big ridding process. Like Buddhism, like for example, reaching nirvana, you have to learn to be content with everything that you have, and then you can be enlightened. As when you no longer want, you become enlightened, you know. And I don't know, it just seems like, I mean, that makes sense. It just seems so difficult because it's a world where our needs and our wants are so mixed up, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, if you eliminated everything that you wanted and you only lived off of what you truly needed, well, there goes technology.
Yeah.
there goes the entire world, and that's sad when you think about it.
Yeah.
We are so reliant on every last thing, you know, that is, you know, technologically created daily. And you know, it kind of reminds me of a Simpson episode a long time ago where, and we may have spoken about it too, you know, when I don't know, the block lost or the town lost electricity or something, or they lost internet, and then all the kids come out, you know, into their front yards and they're drying out their eyes, you know, and they see all this this life out there, you know, and then, you know, it's short-lived. But yeah.
Simpsons called it, man.
Yeah, they call a lot of things, it seems like. Kind of freaky. Illuminati confirmed.
Simpsons confirmed.
But another thing, too, is that, like, a lot of people, like, don't see is, like, you go to church and stuff, but, like, also, like the Catholic Church, the Pope, I mean, you got to see, they ran the world. They were the government for a while. You know, back in those days, you know, Rome ran shit through religion and used it almost as a tool for fear, you know? You got to live this way to control people. And also people fuck with the Bible. You know, they picked and choose what they wanted to put in there.
Every book, man. Like every book, like it's just changed. It's been reinterpreted. Interpretation is the biggest thing in religion, because like you can literally interpret it as whatever you want, and it's valid as long as you see it that way, which is why it's hard for me to understand religion, because in my head religion should just be like a connection between you and whatever you believe, rather than, all right, here's some guidelines, now live just like this, as long as everyone, like, you know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, it did, like I said, like, who knows what the Vatican has in their chambers and, you know, locked away in their basements and whatever secret rooms they have, and you know, ancient texts and scrolls and shit. They probably have some type of answer, some type of thing. You know, they're probably sitting there like, you know, I don't know. They probably have a room full of fucking little kids. You never know, you know? It's like, fuck, dude.
What's going on?
I don't know. But you just don't know what's going on. And what I'm trying to say is that you don't know what's going on in that fucking place.
Yeah.
And what they actually know, you know?
Well, we've spoken about life. Let's flip that. Have you ever felt like you've ever been close to death? And you ever feel like you've ever cheated it or avoided it or just...
You told me about this dream you had about death.
Okay, so I had a dream about death. I'll probably talk on like 2 different things here. So I'll talk about this dream, which is like, it's one of those dreams where you're falling, you know, and right before you hit the ground, you wake up. And usually whenever I have those dreams, I catch myself. I'm like, okay, I gotta wake up. But this time I just kind of like accepted that I was gonna fall and die. So I just like in my dream, as I was falling, I just closed my eyes and like was breathing and like put myself in this meditative state. And it was probably like when I hit the ground or whatever, I felt like this like just like nudge on my shoulder, and then the feeling just like multiplied and I zoomed into this feeling. And it was so weird. It was like almost a lightheadedness, but just like freedom. Like I was floating. Yeah. And I saw this like, it would almost be like a flame coming off a candle, only it was all these different colors. And it was weird, man. I don't know. Is that what it's like to die? I don't know. But
you felt at peace, you said?
Yeah, I felt at peace. Like I put myself in a peaceful mode, like a meditation type scenario, and I felt this nudge, like I hit the ground, and then it was like boom, like I just like zoomed. It was somehow like Star Wars or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird, man. And then I had this other experience where I had a bad trip on LSD, and I was up in my room and I was trying to sleep it off because I haven't done it after this, and probably never will. But it was like I fell asleep and I was like in a dream trance type thing, but they say you can't sleep when you're on psychedelics or whatever. And it was just like these voices that I've never thought with. You know how you think with voices? And it was like this really deep, just like relaxing voice, and it was just saying like, none of this matters. None of this ever existed at all. And I was just like, I was seeing this weird energy, all these lights just like mixing together. And basically in my head, it was like all this energy floating through space was just going so crazy around itself and so fast that the reaction of it was just to create an illusion in itself that was my consciousness, and that I was experiencing all this stuff and it was fake. And it was like literally the feeling of, it's called ego death, when the ego, as in I and you and we, no longer exists. So you literally feel like you are the only thing and you are everything, except for you don't think of it as I. And some people have it in a good way, but I had it in a bad way. So it was the feeling of just trapped and being alone forever, basically.
Oh.
Just like eternally alone, and the feeling of chaos, man. Like, it was nuts. It was just nuts.
And this voice is something that you never heard before?
No, this voice was nothing I've ever heard. It was just like guiding me through outer space, man, like as this energy. And it was, none of this ever existed. And man, it was just insane.
It's kind of creepy.
I hear people talking and they're like, yeah, man, I thought I was dying. But in this scenario, it's like, wow, like I was convinced I was dead, you know? In my head, I accepted the fact that, wow, this is what it is forever. Like, here I am, all alone.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, man.
Like it's like I said before, I think everything's like a consciousness connected to, you know, to everything. I think we're all connected somehow, energy wise, whatever. When we die, our energy goes somewhere. Our soul, you know, connects back into this spirit world or whatever you want, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know what paranormal stuff is. We still don't understand it. You know, we don't know what dark matter is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. We just everything. Like I always say this. I think on the last podcast with Reed, I think I said something about how, if I can remember correctly, I don't think I can now. But everything's a thought. You know how I always say that? I say everything's a thought. Everything is created.
Yeah.
Till now, like even like 50 years ago, a lot of this stuff that we have, people will be like, "Damn, that's magic" or something, or "What the hell?" And I feel like we don't have all the answers. You know, we don't understand a lot of things about God and spiritual stuff because we have our minds still haven't comprehended. We haven't created. We haven't created something to get into there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And maybe we're not supposed to. You know, because if we knew the answers to life and death in purpose, I think a lot of people probably go crazy anyway, or give up on stuff, or actually maybe it is a good thing, but the people who controlling us or whatever don't want that to happen, because then they'll be like, these people will fucking give up on their jobs and give up on what we want them to take, you know what I'm saying, and go back to like I don't know, or do something on their own. You know, a great guy who I think in our history was kind of like pushed aside was Nikola Tesla. You know, he did a lot of invention, and he invented a lot of things that we use today, and a lot of his goals was like free energy for the world. And as soon as that came out of his mouth, a lot of people pushed him aside because there was no money involved in that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of his like things that he thought, like he created like a big old, I mean, the people say he's the creator of the death ray, which no one still doesn't know if it works or not, but this tower that he was building, he destroyed it himself because he didn't want the government using it to, for military purposes, to destroy cities. So he's like, you know what? This tower can like give energy to people, but free energy around the world, but this technology is also bad and it can really destroy lives. So he's like, I'm taking it down,
Yeah.
I mean, the poor guy died poor supposedly. I don't know,
all
but
by himself.
like, he's like, he didn't like all his patents, he didn't make money off them because people just took them, he ran out of, there's a certain amount of years that he had on them or something, and he wasn't making money off of them. And then even like the radio signals or whatever that Marconi, not macaroni, Marconi, some dude from Italy or whatever, took one of his patents and claimed it. And then it wasn't like 6 months after Nikola Tesla died that the Supreme Court or whatever ruled it in favor of Nikola Tesla that this dude stole his shit, So, but that's a guy that that's an example of someone who's trying to better the world. People stopped it or something. People, the money.
It was suppressed. Yeah,
and that's the thing with thought and creation is like money was created, yet it runs us, it controls us, and that was just a thought. You know what I'm saying? Like that piece of paper really, if everybody just like fuck that shit, that's not our currency, or I don't know, Federal Reserves, whatever.
It's a note, bro.
Yeah.
It's like literal. It's like a unit of debt that you have to pay back.
And everything's going into this virtual world, like cards. That
Bitcoin, bro.
Yeah. When do you think currency is actually going to be completely diminished? It's
I mean, you think about it, everybody uses cards.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time did you carry cash on you?
Yeah.
You do?
I do, yeah. I don't like all that internet stuff, bro. I don't like, it's gonna be gone one day, dude. Like the internet and everything, like it's nearly unavoidable. Either like some crazy thing with the sun happens or just some natural disaster.
Solar rays or whatever they call them. What do you call them? Solar
flare.
Solar flare, yeah. Something is gonna happen. Some economy is gonna collapse. Something's going to happen, and there's gonna be no need for what this is. I'm pretty sure it happened after Germany lost World War II. Like, there's just money everywhere, but it doesn't mean anything because there's
the trade value is gone. I mean, think of they're talking about nuclear warfare. I would be more afraid of electronic warfare. I mean, one large EMP wipe out a quarter of the United States.
Yeah.
Then what are you gonna do? They figure that out. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if an EMP dropped the entire United States off of the fucking continent?
Wouldn't that be like no cars working? No planes?
Yeah.
No lights?
Anything that we rely on for electricity.
Refrigerator. Your food, especially like in the winter, that would fucking suck.
Yeah, dude. A lot of people would die. It's kind of weird because when you think about that, you also have to think about how many other countries and how many other people outside of the United States that the United States is actually feeding. So how many people in the world would die from that? You know, like how many people in different countries, how many different countries would completely fall off the face of the earth because they don't have food coming in, you know? Like North Korea, I'm pretty sure like the United Nations like drops off food for them so they can even survive in the first place, you know, like
they can get there.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't know.
Whatever his name is, Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un.
But speaking about that, like, you know, I saw a thing on Vice on HBO, and I like watching that show, but they were just talking about like how there's like Russia has so many, especially with the Russian thing going on with, you know, fucking up with the election and whatever. There's so many hackers, not even in Russia but everywhere, that can like, and it shows like there's here in America we have like people who like try to watch like companies and see what's getting hacked, especially like nuclear, water sources, money, banks, and there's so many like sources that can get hacked easily by these people. And I guess I didn't know, but there's people that hold like information up for ransom that gets hacked, and like people will actually send money to these people so they don't steal it or put it out, you know. And that's like a whole new world. The internet.
So that's your job is you're paid by the government in order to retain the information.
Like I think these I don't know what the thing is called. It was on Vice like the other night. I was watching it and I was like, fuck, dude, like people can hack into anything, you know? And like they're already hacking, and companies are paying ransom money.
And that's the thing, dude. Like people are like, well, what if we go to war with China and Russia? And when you look at it, we have been, you know, it's just through the internet. You know, it's we're at war with all these different countries through the internet. You ever like check out Edward Snowden or
the movie?
Yeah.
And like, well, his story,
based
his
off,
real life story.
Yeah, like just everything about all these defense plans against every single country.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just insane to think about information, how information is illegal. You know, knowledge is illegal. Isn't that such a weird concept?
That maybe it's just up.
Me.
Yeah. Right, put it in perspective.
Yeah, like you're like basically saying like your government's doing this. Like he worked for our government, he knew a lot, and he's telling people this is what they're doing, and for people to be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck.
People call him a whistleblower, and it's like, well, you know, he might be giving secrets to Russia or whatever people think, but like we have to look. We have to at least look. We have to at least like take a look at what's going on, and because
like these politicians are getting away with a lot of shit too, and
dude,
our government
everyone's getting away with everything, man.
Yeah.
Like,
see, so that's what I'm saying. Like
so
it's
corrupt.
like it's like it's a broken system. A lot of weird shit's going on. Like this internet world is brand new. It's still pretty new, and now we're getting to the part of it where there needs to be. They want to make rules and laws now in this world. You know, just like traffic lights stop. You know, in different laws that we have here on Earth.
The new universe, the internet.
The whole new. Now there's like a whole new. We're entities on Facebook, Google. Like, you know, Google, Facebook, Twitter. You know, Instagram.
Yeah.
People are getting news from these places. People like regular people like our podcast. You know, is gonna like people are gonna watch it and be like, "Oh, I didn't know that." You know, but they get news from people like average Joes. You know, now saying, "Oh, you know, this person is like Pizzagate, pedophile ring, or this and that. Trump did this." You know, like other than watching like TV news. You know, and especially with Trump coming out saying, "Oh, fake news, fake news, fake news. Everything's fucking fake news." CNN. You know, people are like, "Well, what's reliable now?"
Yeah.
So now they want to put like rules.
Yeah.
They want to put rules now and shit on like these companies like Facebook, Google, and stuff, saying you're too powerful now, that more people watch you and find information off you, and like knowing that like Russia fucked around with our election, there needs a you guys are saying you're neutral, like we have no power in that, but yet you have the like your companies have more power than any television companies now for news and like information in the world, and to like for people to be able to put out whatever they want, you know, on stuff. Like after the mass shooting, there was so much shit and pictures and stuff. This person's tied to this, and like some of them were lies. And it's like, well, where's the straw end? You know, where do you put an end to like these kind of things, like people lying and stuff? But also that's censorship.
Yeah,
you know?
it's hard to like. because a big thing of mine is freedom and liberty, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard because like I was saying earlier, like people have to learn on their own, and like they have to understand. Like, I don't know, man. It's so hard to say because in my mind, in a super advanced civilization somewhere down the road, like freedom seems like it would be the main, like a main part of it, you know? The freedom to be able to like say this, say that, do this, do that. But I don't know, man. I feel like for people to learn how to handle themselves and to be at peace with themselves and to be at peace with others, I don't know. It's so hard. It's so hard to decide.
Yeah, I think we're reaching a new state of like evolution in humans and like technology.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get to like this peaceful world and stuff, I feel like a lot of the shit that's going on now is supposed to happen to get to that. You know,
Yeah.
to have a nice, like, a lot of freedoms will be taken away if you want this peaceful world and to be able to freedom of speech and all this. Like, it's just like too much stuff going on. Too many, like, they want to rewrite rules, rewrite this. Like, now that Trump's in office, just like changed history. Now, like 2020, you're gonna have a lot of celebrities probably coming out the fucking woodwork trying to run, and you don't know who you're gonna get in office now.
Yeah.
It could be fucking Taylor Swift. You know?
Yeah.
Because why? Because she has a lot of fucking followers. You know? Now it's a popularity contest, and they can probably go up there and say whatever they want, and people are going to believe them. You know? It's not politicians and shit, even though they're crooked fucks too. But it's like, in order to get to this new world and stuff, I think there's going to be a lot of fucking freedoms taken away.
Yeah.
You know? Because I think it has to be, which is kind of sad to say. But in order like to control the world, you know, it's hard. You have too many people, too many different beliefs. I mean, if you got people fighting over fucking racism right now, you got people fighting over genders, 2 different genders. There's a male and female, but yeah, you got people fighting that. No, there's pansexual, bisexual, fucking sexual. You know, like you know, you're butt fucking. It's butt fucking or normal missionary sex. Like, dude, you got people fighting over that shit too. And I understand, like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, gay rights and this. Yeah, I you know, let them be who they are. You know, who cares? Like, you know, you got people against it. It's like, dude, they're not that dude's not fucking you in the ass. You know, who cares what he does?
Yeah.
Let him do him.
Yeah.
If that's what they want to do, like, it has nothing to do with you. Let them be free and marry each other or whatever. But like, also, it's getting out of hand with this transgender shit. I think I'm kind of like, man, like, there's only two genders. If that dude wants to be a girl, cool with me. But there's no like alien gender bullshit going on, you know?
I'm super confused with a lot of the terminology about how many different types of it.
Dude, there's a fucking list. It's like, no,
like,
no.
what does this even mean?
Well, this guy has a dick, but he also has tits, so he's a dick gender.
But he doesn't like guys, and he doesn't like males, and he only likes himself.
Yeah, he likes to jack off, so he's we gotta make something up of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my mind, it doesn't even matter to me as like, because like on both sides of the spectrum, like a lot of the trans and LGBT community and stuff is like mostly like people see it as left wing, as like a
Liberals,
thing.
left wing, yeah.
But it's just both sides, man. Like both sides have so many like inconsistencies and everything. It's just like too many people are focused on being right than like figuring like, oh man.
Well, a lot of these liberal stuff too is like you're saying focus on being right. Yeah. If you don't believe in what they believe, well, you're fucking bigot, ignorant, racist fuck, you know? Or if you don't believe over here, oh, fucking build that wall shit. You know, you're just it's just like there's like two sides and you're either on one or the other. And it's not fair. There's people like me who like believe in rights, gay rights and all that. And there's also like I believe there's a point where like, dude, okay, stop with the fucking gender shit. And, oh, you don't like men. This, what happened to being gay and lesbian and straight? Like, there's no other, you know, because then pretty soon you're gonna be like, well, then bestiality is okay because that guy was chemically different. That chick is chemically different. That she likes animals, and you can track that down. That we came from like evolution. You know, some bullshit. It has to be like that. You know, and I believe that. I don't know where I'm going with this. There's just two sides. You had the Democrats, Republicans, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we've been like. That's the system that we're in. That it's not just Democrats and Republicans anymore. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be more parties or different. Something different has to change now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't
Yeah.
either be right or left or whatever anymore.
Yeah, and like people are looking for themselves to be right rather than looking for the solution, you know,
Yeah.
and like people are too busy pointing out issues with someone else's answer rather than okay, we can build onto this and we can come to terms with this and like make an actual solution out of this. Like, damn, I keep doing that. Anyways, yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
It's a touchy subject too. I
Yeah.
mean, there's probably gonna be people on there to watch this and be like, Lou's a fucking hater, man. He fucking doesn't like gay people or something, but that's not even true. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, and it like
Or trans,
Man.
I guess you could say.
it's so hard. Like it's so hard to stay. You can't walk on eggshells forever with every word, you know.
No.
So like eventually it gets so deep with like the whole gender thing. I don't know all of them. Probably never will because there's too many. But like I don't care if you want to do you. But you shouldn't be forcing other people to live a certain way. Basically, you shouldn't keep putting other people your rights above other people's rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we all
Or
could just
forcing, like you said, forcing your way, and that goes for both sides.
yeah, exactly.
You know,
like,
you can't tell me this is right and this is wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
mhm.
And then tell them this I can't do the same. You can't be like that in
Mhm.
life, you know? And that's where we're battling. That's where all these problems are coming.
There's too many double standards, man.
Yeah.
For everything.
So-
What is your take on this?
He's
Like,
quiet because he doesn't like getting into it.
I'm just listening. I've never really been a political person, but
Well, it's not even politics. It's just like, you know.
well, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, like you say, you know, I mean, everyone's who they are. I think when you start becoming evil and you're doing the things you're doing, I mean, if you want to change, that's fine. If you don't know who you are until later on in life, that's fine. Do what you need to do. But when you start becoming, I guess, when you start becoming evil, then it kind of, for me, it kind of takes shape, you know. And maybe I don't know quite where I'm going at it, but when you say a chemical imbalance, you know, and people start using that as an excuse, you know, in order to get away with, you know, things that you probably shouldn't. I think that's probably where I draw the line on it. I don't know if that answered your question.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that makes sense. One thing that I've been I'm kind of intrigued in, and it's like a very touchy subject, is like people will bring in like the gay rights, but then out of some people you'll hear talk of like the pedophilia stuff.
Yeah,
And-
that's a touchy subject.
And that's something that, in my mind, it's like, okay, it's something that needs to be looked at because, like, if people really cannot control themselves to the point where they have to give in to this want and this weird,
where do
like
you're saying
fetish.
like I think I know
Like,
what you're
where
talking
do
about.
these problems root from? Is it nature or is it nurture? Is it like both? Is there like
One, it is sick fucks, but at the same time, it's like that. Like people think that. Where can these people get help?
yeah?
When they
and
turn themselves in, they
how?
shouldn't be ashamed.
How did it?
You know what I'm
happen?
saying?
Yeah.
Like if they I mean, and then, like I said, if someone came out and said that, and like, oh fuck, dude, you're a pedophile, dude, you're fucking, dude, fuck you, you deserve to die or something. That's how people are against them. So these people will hold it back and like hide it.
Yeah.
If they
yeah.
do, if it really is a problem, if there's so many chemical problems with people already, you know, especially with the gender stuff, you know, because there's been a battle between this, like saying like, oh, so what about pedophiles then? If they like that, they're chemically imbalanced. So just like, you know, you don't know what gender you are, or you don't, or you know you're not a guy, you want to be a girl, whatever. It's a touchy subject, but like, yeah, where do these people get help?
Yeah, and it's kind of just the same way. It's that weird field of like the
we're not gonna
super
touch
dark
with a 10-foot
fetishes of
pole.
Yeah.
yeah, like the killers and like the people who like rape people and then kill them and like like the psychos, man. Like there's something wrong. There's something wrong that needs to be.
Well, that goes to like a whole different subject too. Then, like if you, people who get like murder and like are in jail right now, you know they did it. You know they kill. Why are they still breathing? To me, I'm saying get rid of them.
Yeah.
You know, get rid of these types of people. Like we don't need them on this planet anymore. If they're like just gonna kill, and you put them out and they do it again, and they're just doing it again. There's no need for them. Right? You don't need to study them. We've studied so many fucking mass murders, you know, in their brains and what they have connected and all this shit. Like weird shit. You know?
So, Louis and I are going to ask you to change the world. And how would you do it with the superpower of your choice?
Oh, man. To change the world?
You get to change the world. You figure out some way to change the world with a superpower of your choice. That or the superpower that will lead you towards your best ability to change the world.
It would be like, I wouldn't even say superpower, but just like a super, like, elevated mind of understanding, like complete understanding. If I was able to understand every perspective and every point of view, then there would be a messenger, you know? There would be a messenger for everyone. It would almost, like, being able to educate people properly on certain situations that we do and don't know about. These people don't know about these people's experiences, so maybe you can come to understanding with these people that you hate because you just misunderstood a certain belief or something they said or why they look at a situation, why they do, you know? Like literally like what we were just talking about, religion, politics, everything is divided. So if there was one or even more than one person with complete understanding of every perspective that was able to communicate this to everyone, it would lead to such a better society, I guess.
So like your superpower would be understanding of every situation.
The power of
complete understanding, empathy, like complete empathy, being able to feel. And
that's the best one yet.
Yeah,
it's the power of understanding.
That's crazy.
That's pretty deep.
It makes sense though.
Yeah.
Like, at least to me,
you just blew my mind, dude.
Dude, understand, bro.
Understanding everything. You would be able to fix almost every fucking problem if you understood. Okay, well, this is a problem with that. You know?
Yeah.
And that's crazy in a way. Thinking hard about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you get to, you know, understanding is in the eye of the beholder. So, it's interesting to think that how you would explain it to each individual, they would understand it.
So how
in
they
their
would
own
get
way.
it, and like, yeah,
that's fucking cool.
It's just weird.
We say you were like immortality,
and
I said like super strength, kind of like a Luke Cage or like a, you know, Spider-Man strength and stuff like that. Kind of like I said something like that.
Christian, you were saying here has the power of the mind.
Yeah,
man, just imagine though, like having all that power in your mind.
You can be like Xavier.
Like knowing you're gonna die someday, so you're like, man, I gotta let everyone know before I die. Like,
that's crazy.
He'd be like Xavier. Doesn't he have that kind of power in a way?
He has telekinesis and telepathy and stuff, but
seems like he has more. Than
does he have telekinesis? Can he lift stuff?
I think
with
so.
his mind?
Doesn't it have to incorporate like? It has to incorporate metal because if he was,
well, that's Magneto.
Oh, who are we talking about?
Xavier.
Oh, right.
Wheelchair guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
He has telepathy. I know that.
He just knows that he can talk to people. But he seems really smart.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, man.
Yeah.
I just watched Logan again.
That's a good one.
That was a good movie. Man.
Yeah, I just watched it too. I love it. I think that little girl who played X-23. She did an awesome job.
She's a baller, man.
Yeah, she did awesome.
Keep that in mind. We're gonna take a break here, and we will get right back with you.
Man, some touchy subjects. Touchy subjects.
Straight to superpowers.
I forgot to turn on my mic. Oh, that's good again. All right. So, I forgot what we were going to talk about now.
We were going to close up on Christian's music.
Oh.
How about your about your most inspirable song that you have wrote? Where it came from, the meaning behind it, and how you kind of stumbled across it.
Like the song I was most inspired to write, or like
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Oh man,
Maybe
I don't know.
maybe it's still your favorite one, or maybe it's the one that that just kind of really made you who you are.
That's hard to say because I don't really like stop at any genre, you know. Like I'm working on an album right now that's like very lyrics based rather than just like depending on a beat, you know. And I think this album that I'm working on right now, it doesn't have a title yet, but everything is basically just this whirlwind of thoughts that are always on my mind, like when I'm awake, when I'm sleeping, my dreams, everything. So I think I don't think I have enough music out to say what my favorite song by myself is yet.
That's all right.
But yeah, I don't know, cuz it's just all like, it's so many like phases. It's like different phases in the life, you know? Like when I look back at my favorite artists and my favorite bands, it's like, okay, so there's like this phase of the band, then there's this phase.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm constantly going through those phases. So
Kind of like Blink-182 right now. We were talking about it earlier.
yeah.
Dude Ranch was like your favorite phase of them.
Yeah, man. And then like Slipknot, like I have The Gray Chapter, which is our last album, in my car right now, and like it's just crazy for me to hear because their self-titled album, you can still hear those elements in their newest, you know, and that's what I hope for at least. But my favorite song that I've made so far, I don't think I really have one, because I like to focus on the project, you know.
Sure.
I'd rather have a favorite project than a favorite song.
You get. I mean, ever since like I've known you and like your music, I've liked you for a while, and like when you do your music and your CDs, your albums, you do it like so. You have a concept to everything, you know, like the one of your CDs you had like comic book style like storyline to it, you know, and then another one was just like that Utopia one that you had, like it had its own vibe to it that matched, you know. So you're good at that, at doing that in your music and stuff. And like one of my favorite songs from you is I already forgot what it's called, but the you know, you're like, I always made fun of you. I was like, everything's all right, everything all right.
Oh, Moving.
Yeah, Moving.
Yeah,
I like that song a lot from you. You know,
I like that song.
it's a
Yeah,
good song. You know,
I like.
everything all right.
I guess if I had to choose my favorite, it'd be Jazz City
Jazz City.
with
That's
Kid
a good one,
Dex.
too. That's
Yeah,
a good one,
man.
too.
That beat is just so smooth, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And Kid Dex, he's a genius. So
Yeah,
So check out Jazz City
Jazz City
by Friday.
yep.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's a video. It's older, so like it's like back before I had my like better videos. It was all like DIY, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like that came from the Utopia Bliss album,
Yeah,
which was all. It was a project based around an experience I had a week in Branson. It was a week I was in Branson, and I met some different characters and stuff, and like it was like one of the biggest eye-opening experiences on life that like helped me transition from like 13, 14-year-old punk kid to like diving into like the spiritual realm of life, and I don't know, everything like that, you know.
Nice.
So that experience, like that whole project, kind of like is my expression of how I went through this big change of like my personality entirely, you know.
yeah.
So
And what do you think about like so far since you've been in the music scene and man, you've been in it what now? It's been 4, 5, 6, like 5 years now. 5 years.
2013 to 2017. So yeah, I mean it's getting there. Yeah, I mean,
What's your favorite moment here in Omaha?
here in Omaha, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Just like being on stage. I like to be on stage.
Yeah.
So like I can't even tell you. Just being on stage and having people that I know and having like friends and family there, being able to see it, and we're all having a good time, you know.
Yeah.
Because when you walk into like I walk into some of my favorite venues, like Lookout Lounge, and like everyone's just so cool, you know. No one's like there trying to start nothing. It's just chill. I like the friendly environment. So
that's cool.
Well, what do you think?
I think this was a good podcast. You know?
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I mean, touchy subjects and people like
Yeah,
Louis a fucking
man.
hater.
Louis a hater, bro.
Louis a hater, man. I drank a lot of haterade, but I don't know. I'm glad we had him on here.
Yeah,
Christian,
yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank
Christian
you guys,
Freed, everybody.
man. Thank you guys.
You got a new album. You know when it's gonna drop?
No.
Look
No,
for
I
it.
don't know any details besides that I'm working on it. So
Besides, well, we're working on some punk rock too right
Yeah,
now. So.
yeah.
But all right, man. We're gonna close this off. I think it was a great one.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Absolutely,
We'll have you
appreciate it.
again sometime.
The Luna Effect.
All right.
Take care.
Friday a week.